Hi, I'm Mike Hartung, president of Cherry Hill Motors in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and a member of the Mercedes-Benz dealer board as a link to corporate communications, along with Steve Rossi, MB&A's general manager. With roughly 2 million sport utility vehicles entering the U.S. market every year, there's a growing concern by the public as well as the media regarding issues such as crashworthiness and crash compatibility of these vehicles. Crash compatibility, meaning the damage that can occur between the vehicles involved in a collision as well as to the occupants of these vehicles. In a joint effort, we've created this program to look at what makes M-Class unique regarding these safety issues. First, we'll go to Germany and speak with Roland Bachmann, safety engineer for the M-Class. And then we'll visit the Mercedes-Benz M-Class plant in Alabama, where Ron Hennell and Steve DeClassy-Walford from Mercedes-Benz Marketing Academy point out details of the M-Class safety features. You'll easily see how Mercedes-Benz has placed the same emphasis on safety in our M-Class vehicles as we have in our passenger cars, making Mercedes-Benz a true leader in the industry.
Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz are not only the first automakers of the world, but also the whole Daimler-Benz company has a long history and a lot of experience in passive safety. Nearly 60 years of passive safety, nearly 40 years of crash testing, and the results of that you can see in every Mercedes car. We added as much safety for our occupants, for every car, and especially in the case of an accident you can see that. As we started to develop the M-Class, we decided to do the same for the M-Class, the same for the sport utility. We tried to achieve the same high level of safety as in every other Mercedes passenger car. That means maximum protection for occupants of M-Class, but we don't stop at this. We tried to be as crash-friendly as possible, to be as compatible as possible, and this is good in case of an accident with another car, especially with a smaller or a lighter car. We started the M-Class years ago with a clean sheet of paper, and from the first day we know we would build in safety and not add on, because safety is one of the most important aspects during the development of every Mercedes car, and the same with the M-Class. That means from the first day, from the first clean sheet of paper, we started to think over how we can be as crash-friendly as possible, as safe as possible. That means we build in, we don't add it on.
Hi, my name's Steve DeClassy-Walford.
And my name's Ron Hennell. We're with the Mercedes-Benz Marketing Academy, and we're here at the M-Class factory in Alabama. Every year, there's an increasing number of sport utilities on the road, and there's a growing concern on the part of the media as well as the public regarding sport utility safety. That is, what happens when a sport utility vehicle collides with another vehicle? For the next few minutes, we'll talk about M-Class crash compatibility and what Mercedes-Benz has done to achieve it.
That's right, Ron. And when we talk about compatibility in M-Class vehicles, there's a number of things that could be considered. Amongst those, for the safety engineers at Mercedes-Benz, were the bumper and the frame height. What happens when you have vehicles that are different heights colliding with each other and the bumpers and the frames don't match? And the second consideration was the mass that's involved. What happens when you put a large, heavy vehicle in a collision with a smaller, lighter vehicle? So in terms of compatibility, two of the things that the engineers wanted to address was how could we, as far as possible, match the frame heights and the bumper heights of the M-Class vehicle with that of passenger cars. And the secondary thing that they wanted to look at was how could you have the larger vehicle designed in such a way that the front end would yield, offering a degree of protection for the occupants of the smaller, lighter vehicle without compromising the safety of the passengers in the M-Class vehicle. And maybe you could start us off by telling us how they did that.
Sure, Steve. As you know, the M-Class is a body-on-frame configuration. There's an upper crumple zone as well as a lower crumple zone on this vehicle. For example, some of the components of the lower crumple zone include this transverse member, and you can see by the position that it's about the same height as many of the passenger vehicles that are on the road today. In addition, it extends far to the side of the vehicle, which is going to help to absorb some of the energy in offset crashes, which are fairly common in frontal crashes on all vehicles. You can see by the design of this transverse member that it is convex in nature, which will mean that in a frontal impact, it's going to crush, it's going to flatten out. It will also help to absorb or diminish some of the frontal impact energy by doing that. It's connected to a crash box, which is also designed to collapse, and it in turn is connected to the front longitudinal member. Now, the front longitudinal member, as you can see, is smaller in front. It's narrower and it's shorter. As it progresses toward the back of the vehicle, it gets a little taller and a little wider, a little more rigid, if you will. The purpose of this is to give the vehicle what we call a program deformation. That is, as the vehicle is hit, it will allow that longitudinal member to crush, and as it proceeds back toward the back of the vehicle, the resistance is increased, therefore the force is diminished. In addition, the transverse member up here is welded, so it will again help to transfer some of that energy from one side of the vehicle to the other to allow the whole vehicle to participate in the absorption of that energy. This is extremely important again in collisions with similar bumper heights.
That's right, Ron. Now that there begs the question, what happens when the bumper heights aren't the same? What additional protection then can we build into the M-Class to offer the occupants the standard protection that they would expect? The safety engineers came up with two important features. The first of these was this transverse tubular steel member. As you can see, just like the main transverse member you were just talking about, it's welded here on both sides of the vehicle. So in a collision, it will help to transfer those impact forces from one side of the vehicle to the other. Up here we have another transverse member which is bolted on, and again it has the same effect. It will help to transfer the impact forces from one side of the vehicle to the other, sharing the load as much as possible across the whole front of the vehicle. In addition, inside both the front fenders there's this Y-shaped member with program deformation areas in it, and the purpose of this is to take the impact forces from the front and direct them up the A-pillar and down the A-pillar into the floor. This whole shared loading concept and program deformation areas offers a greater yield capability inside the M-Class vehicle, which offers additional protection to the occupants of the smaller vehicle without compromising the safety of the passengers and driver inside the Mercedes-Benz safety cage.
Steve, one point. In addition, you can see that several of the components on the M-Class model here are shaded in red. This is to signify that there is that same high-strength, low-alloy steel that you'll find on all of our passenger cars.
That's right, Ron. And when you take all these things together, the HSLA, high-strength alloy steel that's used in the vehicle, the program deformation zones, the sharing of the impact across the vehicle, this means that the M-Class offers the highest degree of compatibility between a sport utility vehicle and another vehicle on the road without compromising the safety of the M-Class occupants. Other safety features include airbags, front airbags, side airbags. We have seat belts with seat belt tensioners. We have the seat design, things called squabs in the seat, which are intended to prevent people from sliding off the seat into the footwell. We have rollover protection. We've got a fuel tank that's situated right inside the frame rail in just about the safest place you can put it on a sport utility vehicle of any kind.
Active safety features are those features that are designed to help the driver stay out of an accident. Some of those features on the M-Class include 4ETS, the Electronic Traction Support System, 4ESP, which is the Electronic Stability Program, which is new for '99 on all M-Class vehicles. The anti-lock brake system, which has two modes, an off-road mode as well as an on-road mode, which will enhance the stopping capability for off-road driving as well as on-road driving. The other scenarios that you might look for in active safety features would include a sloped hood, which optimizes driver visibility. The ergonomics of the cockpit. The controls are all very easy to use and easy to find, minimizing the time that the driver would have to take his or her eyes off the road to operate those controls.
And so, as you can see, Mercedes-Benz safety philosophy extends from our passenger cars to M-Class vehicles. From design through manufacture, safety has been built in. not added on. Our goal is to protect the driver and the occupants, not only in our vehicles, but in the imposing vehicles as well. The bottom line, we want the owners of the M-Class vehicle to have the safety, security, and peace of mind of knowing that they are driving one of the safest sport utility vehicles available today.